Hello, I'm Jan Painter, and I want to welcome you again to our program, Politics Matters. We are very pleased to have as our guest today Terry McAuliffe, Democratic candidate for the 2013 Virginia gubernatorial election. Welcome, Mr. McAuliffe.
It's great to be back with you, Jan.
Terrence Richard McAuliffe was born in Syracuse, New York. He received a BA from Catholic University and a JD from Georgetown University. By age 30, he was the youngest chair of a bank in the history of the United States. In 1980, he worked for the Carter re-election campaign and became their national finance director. In 1988, he was finance chair for Democrat Dick Gebhardt. In 1996, he served as national co-chairman of the Clinton-Gore re-election committee. In 1993, he received Clinton's first ambassadorial appointment to the Daejeon Expo of South Korea. From 2001 to 2005, he chaired the Democratic National Committee, raising $578 million for Democrats, taking the party out of debt for the first time in its history. While serving as chairman, he founded a Women's Vote Center to educate and mobilize women voters. In 2009, he founded the electrical vehicle startup company Green Tech Automotive. His book, What a Party, was published in 2007. In 2008, he was campaign chair for Hillary Clinton for the Democratic nomination. In 2009, he ran for his party's nomination for governor of Virginia and lost the race to Creed Eads. Terry McAuliffe resides in McLean, Virginia, with his wife Dorothy and their 5 children. Welcome back, Terry.
Great to be back with you, Jan. Thank you.
As a backdrop to our discussion today, Terry, we all know that issues of fiscal responsibility and economic growth are likely to dominate the 2013 governor's race. So first of all, with this in mind, given the immense state of challenges that we have, why do you want the job for governor of Virginia, and how specifically have your activities between 2009 and 13 at Green Tech Automotive and elsewhere helped prepare you for the job in this challenging time? So in essence, why should Virginians hire you?
Well, I think you've hit the core question that's going to confront the next governor. It's going to be economic development and job creation. This is something I talk about every day. This is the reason why I'm running for governor. We need a governor who's going to bring common sense, mainstream ideas, can work with both sides of the aisle to create new economic activity. We're going to have some challenges, obviously, in Virginia with the cutbacks in the federal budget. Since we're the top recipient of federal budget dollars, it's going to have a big impact on what happens to us. So your next governor needs to be focused every single day on how to grow the economy, how to diversify it, how to help the small businesses that we have here today, and also how do we bring in those new businesses of the 21st century. As your governor, I'm going to have to compete against 200 other nations. I'm going to have to compete against 49 other states. In order to do that, we have to be competitive. We have to be at the top. In order to do that, I want to bring my business skills that I've had my entire life. I started my first business when I was 14 years old. I was going to have to help pay for college. I got to work sealing driveways, then got into parking lots and been in a variety of different businesses. I want to bring that business approach, that business experience to the job. And with that, the things that I've learned. I, like every Virginian, Dorothy and I have lived in the same home in McLean, Virginia for 21 years, gone to the same church. We have 5 children. I want those 5 children to stay here and have jobs here. I want them to have families here. Like everybody else, we're selfish. We want our grandchildren close to us. But in order to do that, Jan, we need a governor who's focused on this economic development, and we need to create jobs of the 21st century. I've had a lot of experiences. I've learned a lot. I want to bring common sense, mainstream business ideas to the governor's office, which is so important. But within that, what experience, when I say that, I think it's most importantly, I will bring the experiences that I have had in business. We need research and development. And within research and development, that means transportation. I cannot tell you how important that is here in Virginia, because if you want to grow a business, people have to be able to move their products around. Families have to be able to move. You want quality of life issues. In Northern Virginia, where Dorothy and I live, it has been absolutely gridlocked. We spend 70 hours on average, a Virginian in Northern Virginia, 70 hours a year stuck in traffic. That's $1 billion wasted. 43 hours in Hampton Roads. Stuck. $1.7 billion combined, just stuck in traffic. When Dorothy and I first moved to Northern Virginia, we 21 years ago, Route 7 was great. Now you don't go near Route 7 at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a parking lot. So we've got to deal with transportation. We can't deal with the potential loss of the federal match, a 4-to-1 match in 2017. Virginia, because we don't have the dollar for the $4, you need a governor who's going to solve that issue.
So you must feel pretty good about the compromise bill that just came through the Assembly, yes?
I do. And as the press reported, I was very active in support of it. I called Democrats in the House and the Senate. It's not a perfect bill. But, you know, with the compromise, you don't get everything that you want. But it was a step in the right direction. And I commend Governor McDowell for putting out to get the ball rolling on transportation because of this loss of the federal match in 2007. Billions of dollars of our money, Jan, that we pay in our federal taxes goes to Washington. We weren't going to get it back. It was going to go to other states because we didn't have the dollar to put up to get the $4 back from the Fed. Irresponsible. But there are things in it that I didn't like. I didn't like the idea that we were taking general fund money out, which could impact education and could affect public safety. So as governor, I can go in and fix and tweak and do some things, but it was a great first step, and I commend, I mean, it's the first transportation progress we've made in 27 years, so I commend Governor McDonnell, Lieutenant Governor Bowling, and the leaders of both parties in the General Assembly for the work that they did.
Yeah, it was a rare bipartisan moment. Now let's talk about the automatic across-the-board spending cuts, which are the sequester. There's been so much, as we all know, in the news about this lately. What are some of the ways in which the sequester is likely to affect Virginia citizens, and what actions would you take as governor to redress the shortfalls which would result of this taking effect?
Well, first I'd say shame on everybody in Washington, D.C. that we are in this position. This is an absolute disgrace. And the economic implications that are going to result from the inaction, and blame goes to everybody up in Washington, because we've got to get folks to be able, Jan, to come into a room and sit down, negotiate, and compromise. But for some reason, that seems to be gone. And for us in Virginia, it is the devastation, the impact on our economy. Stephen Fuller of George Mason just recently came out with a report. Over 200,000 jobs will be lost here in Virginia. But you can go through aid to schools. You can go through every different category. It's going to have a tremendous impact on us. And that's why I say your next governor has to be up to this challenge of, got to deal with these cuts. How are you diversifying? How are you growing? And that's why I say it's not only transportation, but it's education. I've spent a lot of time in our community college. They are the crown jewel of higher ed that we have in Virginia. 3 out of 5 of our Virginians go to higher ed, go to a community college. I'm touring all 23 of them. They're on 40 campuses. Spectacular. Workforce development, job training comes with the community colleges. So I'm going to spend a lot of time, obviously, on education, important things we need to do. But since 2008, the Commonwealth's contribution to the community college was about $4,400 per student. That's dropped down to $2,500.
Well, the creative way is always going to be finding funds for this, right?
Well, it's finding funds, but it's also being, as a business person, this is what I would bring to it. It's never throwing money at a project. It's making sure you're spending your money efficiently. And there are a lot of efficiencies. Frank Friedman, right by here, Piedmont, Virginia Community College, right here. I just toured that. Spectacular what they're doing. They're training folks in the defense industry, as you know. They have nursing students. And what Frank had told me, I said, Frank, what would you do if you were governor? He says, Terry, if you could give me a little bit more autonomy here, because let me just tell you, all this furniture you see in this new classroom, we had to purchase it from the Corrections Institute project that they have, where we have to buy them from the Corrections Institute. He said, Terry, if you give me a little power to be able to negotiate and do this on my own, guess what? This furniture costs me a lot more money. I could have bought it much cheaper for you and saved the taxpayer money, and it's not as good as furniture. So if you give me a little more authority, then I can go out, save money, bring in a couple more professors, because Frank, like Rappahannock, they turn away 100 qualified nursing students a year. Now, Jan, we need nurses today. They will immediately get a job as soon as they get their degree. So why is it that we're not making sure that we're getting those qualified students in and out into the workforce? I view education not as an expense, but as an investment. But you got to be efficient with the money. You got to spend that money right. And you need to protect the taxpayer dollars. So I say with education, it's not just about money. It's making sure we're doing the best we can to make sure our children are getting the best education. But if you want me as governor to go beat nations around the world and other states, you want me to have the best educated workforce in the nation, best workforce training development. And that's something I would focus on.
So let's talk some more about how you would attract businesses to the state, and also why did you locate green tech out of state?
Well, our corporate head, we tried, it didn't work out, it is what it is. But I would say what we need to do in order to bring businesses here, we need to be, I go back to my points again, it's transportation. And remember, Jan, we have always been in the, we've dropped, as you know, but we're always still in the top 5 for the best place to do business. But you know what has hurt us? Transportation. We're down to 33rd in the nation. And I cannot tell you, for an employer bringing in, let it be 50 jobs, 100 or 1,000, those employees do not want to be stuck in traffic in Northern Virginia for 70 hours a year or in Hampton Roads for 43 hours a year. They don't want it. You want to be able to go in the afternoon if you want to go see your kids. And I've been to lots of games with 5 kids playing multiple sports, lots of games in the afternoon. You can't make it a 2 or 3 hour adventure away from your work because you're stuck in traffic. It goes to quality of life. So I would say, as governor, you can be very aggressive, but it's got to have an education, workforce development. We got to have transportation, and you got to have focus. I go back to my point. I have done this. I've created lots of jobs. I would bring that common sense, pro-business, mainstream ideas to the job as governor, and not a focus of a social ideological agenda which divides people. We don't need to be attacking women, members of the GLBT community. We need to make it a welcoming place to do business. That's what employees want, and that's what I would focus on. I'd bring my background, mainstream ideas, pro-business ideas, working with bringing people together, work with Democrats and Republicans. Jobs are not a partisan issue.